this past weekend?
For
You had
Cambosos
Cambosos and
and
Aint.
I mean, I tweeted about it. Definitely wasn't the most exciting fight, but yet, you know, Devin Haney, congrats to him for winning that fight. He did his thing, but I just didn't see urgency for them to want to I would say separate themselves from one another. Like a fight, for example, with Leonard and Hearns. I think it was similar, like Undisputed or something like that. I don't know if it was for all the belt. I don't even know how it worked back then, but all I know is they went for it. You know, they wanted to knock each other, separate themselves. Like I'm the best guy here, and I didn't see that. But that's on them. Some people are just happy with let me just get the W. Some people are just different people.
Well, what's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back in the flesh, once again, rerunning it up. So we just heard there from your mans, Ryan, TikTok, Garcia. Yeah, this guy funny style, and it amazes me, not just Ryan. Most fighters are like this, but they are delusional to the highest extent. What do I mean? Well, no word of a lie. I actually started to buy into Ryan Garcia's delusion. Well, I'll explain it, what I'm trying to say here. Bottom line. Let's get to the point here. The point is, after Devin Haney pushed back George Bumbosas's wig, after flying all the way to Australia and all the goofy behaviour of the Australian government playing games with his dad and his corner team and his cutman and whatever else, Devin, the Dream Haney, nonetheless made sure George Bumbosas's wig came flying off in front of his own 50,000 fans. Fact, that's what did happen. Yeah? And after that, Mr. Ryan TikTok Garcia was all on the Twitter doing what he does best, TikToking and tweeting. Oh, the Bumbosas and Devin didn't want to really leave it all out there. Yeah? Bumbosas and Devin didn't want to get stuck in. It was boring for an undisputed fight. Now, I can't lie to you. You man know me. I'm the first one to say Dons need to start getting stuck in, especially when they're losing. I would have liked. You know me, I've criticised Bivol, I've criticised Shakur Stevenson. I believe when you're dominating someone, you owe it to the boxing gods. I think both men should leave it all out there. I mean, when you look at the great fighters and the great fights, if they were better than someone, they made it clear and they butchered them. Or made them quit. Yeah? That's what used to happen and that's what should happen now. But you know what? It's 2022 and I have to reduce my expectations. So like I was saying, fair enough. If you're winning and you can win easy like Devin was doing, fair play to him. But Bumbosas, he needs to get stuck in. Anyway, like I said, in that respect, I agree with Ryan TikTok Garcia. People do need to get stuck in more. And it was at that point I started thinking, wait there a minute, what's Ryan Garcia been doing recently? And I thought back to, I actually watched it, or watched the highlights at least, of Ryan Garcia versus some Don called Tago. Yeah, Bumgo. Some dude, some random ass dude, and no one never heard of him before, called Bumgo. That was Ryan Garcia's last fight. Now, bearing in mind, like I said, I started buying into his own delusion. Because bearing in mind, Ryan Garcia was just criticising Devin and Bumbosas for not committing and not getting stuck in. I started thinking, oh damn, I know for a fact, because I wasn't sure, but I thought I know for a fact, if Ryan Garcia is mouthing off against these two, fighting for all four belts, there can be no way, surely, that Ryan Garcia just went the distance in a lackluster performance against a dude who's useless. Yeah, that's when my brain started going. My brain started going because I couldn't remember how the fight ended. I started to believe, oh yeah, Ryan Garcia stopped Tago because he must have done. Because there's no way if he didn't, he could be on TikTok and Twitter woofing about what he would do and what you're supposed to do. Two twos. It wasn't until today, because I didn't actually do a video on that at the time. I forgot to do it, but it wasn't until today, yeah, where I heard this interview I've just played for you, man, yeah. It wasn't until today I actually took the time. I heard him say these new things, so I'll repeat the same thing but in an interview. Before it was on TikTok and Twitter. Now he actually said it in an interview. So I heard it, I thought, oh, before I make a video on this, applauding Ryan Garcia, because if I hadn't have checked BoxRec, yeah, I'd have come on here and said, listen, obviously Mr. TikTok Garcia needs to actually fight someone. That hasn't changed. But taking him on a case-by-case basis, what he's saying is true to some extent. People do need to dig in. But before, obviously, I got to making that video, I checked Ryan TikTok Garcia's BoxRec. Wow. And for any of you, man, who don't know or who have forgot, because you best believe that fight, Ryan Garcia versus Bumgo, was surely a forgettable fight. Guess what? Ryan Garcia went 12 rounds with Bumgo. Oh my god. Wait there. You went 12 rounds with a dude who's top 50 at best. I don't even think it's that. I think it's like top 100. I'd say Rolly Romero is top 50. Yeah? Bumgo. I don't know where you got him from. Yeah? But nonetheless, you went the distance. You went the distance with a top 100 guy. And you've got the delusion to come onto Twitter and rabbit on about what two dudes fighting people in the top 5. Because whatever way you look at it, Devin Haney is top 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah, 2 or 3 for sure. And Kambosos is top 10. So average it out. This was a top 5 fight. Mr. TikTok Garcia, who knows nothing about fighting top 5 fighters, is on there woofing about what he would do or how it should go. Meanwhile, he had a demonstration fight. Ryan Garcia versus Tago, yeah, should have been a demonstration. You go in there and you show all of your TikTok skills. You go in there and you show big massive left hooks, or you show all of your hand speed, just teeing off on him. Because he was small and he was useless and he was old. Yeah? Where was all that? Did you see Ryan Garcia take any risk when he was in the ring with a top 100 dude? I didn't. I saw Ryan Garcia nervous and gingerly trying to outbox the guy. That's why it went 12 rounds. So Ryan Garcia just went 12 rounds with a man in the top 100, and he giving advice about how to make your fight more entertaining. It's mad. And then that's what I can't deal with the US media. Especially Ellie Suckback. Ellie Suckback was like, yeah, you're right. Does that show how you're going to go in there with this next guy? And Ryan Garcia is obviously like, yeah, of course it does. I'm going to go in there. I'm coming for knockouts. But it's like, Ellie, you know Ryan Garcia just went points with Bumgo. If I was doing the interview, yeah, I'd have said, wait there a minute, Ryan. You've just criticised Devin Haney and Kambosos. Where was all of this same energy for your own fight when you was in the ring? Yeah, where was your own critique saying, you know what? Never mind undisputed fight, you're in there with a bum. And in my opinion, Devin Haney and Bumbosis not going for the KO is less forgivable. Sorry, it's more forgivable because it's like, well, I'm in there with a top guy with 8-ounce gloves who can potentially hurt me with any shot. So it makes more sense to be more cautious, doesn't it? Even though I don't like the fact, but it does make more sense. You know what? I'm in there with a top guy. There's a lot at stake. I'm going to be more cautious. You fighting a bum who had nothing to offer. Bumgo didn't throw any decent shot. I didn't see Ryan get hit once, really. And still, Ryan Garcia was so interested on focusing on TikTok. Why didn't he let his hands go against a bum? That's what Ellie Suckback should have been saying. Not, oh yeah, Ryan. You're right, Ryan. Tell us some more about what you're going to do in your next fight. And this is the thing with the problem here with US boxing I've noticed. And I've been exposing it. These cats are always talking without doubt, without fail, always talking about their next fight. Always. Oh, what I'm going to do in my next fight. I'm going to fight him next. I'm going to get the KO next. No one ever thinks about what happened before, which is actually what's real. Yeah? We can all talk about what we're going to do, but what actually happened is what's real. And what actually happened with Ryan is that you just went life and death with a complete bum. But yet you're giving advice to people who have actually won belts. Whatever we say about George Bombosas, he turned up and he beat Teofimo. Have we seen Ryan Garcia do anything at that level? No. In fact, he couldn't even stop the top 100 guy. Oh my god. I mean, if anyone's going to be critical, yeah, if we're going to break down anyone's performance, in all seriousness, I'm going to break down Ryan Garcia's. And there needs to be an inquest. Ryan was huge in there. Huge, young, and all this speed allegedly, all this power allegedly, all this pay-per-view attraction allegedly. And you can't stop the guy. And to be honest, as far as I remember, I don't even remember Bumgo being that hurt. Yeah, he went down, but he went down more as a pity thing. Like, oh, yeah, I'm bored. Ryan's boring me. Let me just take a. It wasn't like he was buzzed and he was doing a jelly leg. Like Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero was iced. Ryan never gave Bumgo neurological problems. Never. Never was he rocked. It was always that pity journeyman go to the floor kind of thing. It's embarrassing, honestly. And this is the problem with USA boxing in particular. These guys are allowed, the media allows them to take no responsibility for their actions. Like Teofimo Lopez, like George Bombosas, all of them. None of them have to take any responsibility, and the US media allows them to move on to the next one. Oh, don't forget about what I did in my last fight. Let me sell you some more snake oil for the next fight. Oh, don't worry about my last fight. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We had Benavidez. Yeah, after Lemieux, I'm gonna do this. Where's he been? We don't know, he's missing. Oh, after I fight Lemieux, I'm gonna take on this guy, I'm gonna take on that guy. We haven't heard nothing from him in 6 weeks. Yeah, but all these things he was gonna do. I told you before, all these guys. Ryan Garcia is doing it again. Tank just did it. Oh, I'm gonna leave Floyd Mayweather after this fight. Yeah, Ryan Garcia did it. Oh, after I fight Figueroa, I'm gonna fight Tank. How many years, how many fights, yeah, have we seen Ryan Garcia fighting a bum under the guise of a big fight coming next? It's been going on for about 2 years at least. Oh, I'm fighting Tank next after this bum. You just fought Taker, who was a bum. And now you're fighting some other bum. And around all of that, you're criticising people who are actually getting it. Devin Haney going out of his way to push Wiggs back, and you got advice for him. You want to focus on your own shit. And that is another symptom of 2022. Everyone's focused on everyone else's shit and not looking at their own. Keep your own shit on point, 100%.